Good evening and salutations, my Beyond the Gates fans. You know, I will say this much as a overall arc so far throughout this day, and I didn't get a chance to watch YNR yet, so I can't sit there and put this on YNR. But it feels like each episode so far has done something to irk the living, right? And Beyond the Gates is no different. I mean, it wasn't a total shit show, if we're going to be honest, but there was some stuff that did annoy me. Andre and Ashley. Some people could sit there and look at what Andre did and be like, listen, he's a good friend. He was there for her. He comforted her. He tried to make her feel better and everything. And I get that to an extent. My issue with what Andre was doing is that, in a sense, he kind of wasn't being a good friend, right? Like, the only person who actually held themselves accountable was Ashley. She's literally says since he's moved in, she's been nothing but territorial and non inviting, arguing and nitpicking about the simplest shit. She realized how much she messed up. And that's great. If she wants to actually work things out, cool. You know? There's a lot of times I'll sit there and say never as far as trying to make something work. Right? The love is there. Everything else could sit there and be worked out. Yes, there's times the love isn't enough when it comes to a certain thing, right? But you gotta acknowledge your screw ups in order to sit there and learn from them and do better. And all Andre kept sitting there doing was trying to either dim down what she's done or also try to make it seem like, well, it's his fault too. He should have stayed and fought for you instead of leaving. And I'm just like, bro, you it's like every time she kept sitting there doing something right by taking accountability, it's like, yes, yes, yes. His dumbass comes in and just messes up all the progress that you feel that she is making throughout this journey. And I'm just like, I was just so irritated. I was so goddamn irritated about that. And that wasn't even the worst part of this episode. Okay? The worst part of this episode was Chelsea. Let me tell you something about Chelsea. Okay? Let me tell you just how much I don't like Chelsea. I would rather sit there and watch 10 hours of Cat than 2 minutes of Chelsea. Okay? Because, and this is just another reason why I do not like this girl. And I'm not going to call her a woman. I will not sit there and insult women like that by calling her a woman. So she's with, I think her name was Allison or something. I don't know. And she's talking about how excited she is and she can't stop thinking about her and everything like that. And this chick's like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. And she essentially tells her, this, like, she's committed to her husband. She's only sitting there doing this with her to add a bit of spice to the relationship, right? But this isn't, something that she wants to do. Like this, what I'm saying? Like catching feelings for her, like this isn't part of the deal. She let her know that right off rip, in this episode. Now, I guess my only issue with her is that, in a sense, she kind of knew where Chelsea wanted to go the first time. And she didn't sit there and have this conversation then, when she brung it up that she wants to start doing more things with her. And that was probably like my little pet peeve with her is that, yo, You should have told her to jump when she started acting like this. But either way, she squashed that. Now Chelsea sits there and plays it off like, nah, it's cool. I'm a big girl. I knew what I was getting myself into. And so she leaves and she's all upset and hurt. And I'm not going to sit there. Here's the thing. This is not me intentionally trying to be a dick, but I have zero sympathy for her. Okay? I have not because she just irks me. I have zero sympathy for her because she decides that she wants to sit there and start getting involved with a married couple. Okay? That was just acidinely stupid right then and there. So getting her little feelings hurt and stuff like that, but you did that to yourself. This is your fault. I have no sympathy for her. So she goes to Naomi, and then she leaves and she goes to the country club. I guess maybe to talk to her mom or something. Pam, I don't know what was going on with her. She talked about how Diego kissed her, and she wants to then try to get into the modeling thing. He didn't want to do that, and she pretty much sat there and said that he could not get away from her fast enough, and she gets offended. And I'm like, weren't you the one that was like kind of caught off guard and seemed like you're offended that he just randomly kissed you? But now you're offended because he didn't want anything to do with you? Like, boo hoo. Like, I don't know what to sit there and tell you, but like, I don't really understand where's the sympathy supposed to come from. Like, you felt like you were all that and then you got humbled? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, while that's going on, they're also sitting there talking about Andre and, Pam noticing that Danny has feelings for Andre. Andre has feelings for Danny. They got something going on, right? Chelsea comes in the country club. Bill and Haley, after their round or whatever, decided to go to the country club. I don't know why she went to the country club for. I don't get it. Why would you sit there and take your wife to a place that has been nothing but rude, disrespectful, and immature, a bunch of immature assholes to her? Why would you sit there and take her there for? I don't get that. But he does, right? And they see Danny and everything like that. They don't, he says a couple of sniping comments and stuff. Danny, in his attempt to sit there and cheer up Pam, decided to kiss her. Okay, very odd thing to do, but whatever. Chelsea sees this. Now, Bill, in his infinite wisdom, is like, oh, she's sitting there doing that to make me jealous. So the world just revolves around Bill Hamilton now, right? Like, the ego in this man is just like, okay, bro. Chelsea overhears this. And this is the part, this is where it just got to a point where I'm like, yeah, I really don't like this girl. Like, I really do not like Chelsea. Because she comes over there, she gets so upset in her feelings. She's like, you're doing this to make Bill jealous. I can see why she's not the brains of the operation with Kat. But it gets worse because then she gets on her high moral ground. And she's all like, oh, it's a slap to the face. It's a slap in the face to women who like Southern women. What? What? What the? I'm like, where did that even come from? But of course, this idiot is in her feelings because she got rejected. Boo fucking hoo. So she gets on this whole moral ground, high bar, whatever, and it's just going off on her. And she talks about the LGBT and, like, oh, it's offensive and I'm offended and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, girl, if you do not take your oversensitive crybaby ass somewhere else. Like, I would have sat there, I would have had more respect for her if she was in a bar sitting there drinking just to kind of get over her feelings than what she decided to do, which was making complete and utter ass out of herself. And it actually made me dislike her even more. But this is where they decide to go. So Pam apologizes for no reason other than to try to pacify this damn crybaby. And this is the part where it's, I mean, this is the part where it's supposed, like, okay, it's supposed to be a nice moment, okay? Mother and daughter conversation. But there's a couple of reasons why this doesn't work. And see, this doesn't work for me because I'm not a mother, I'm not a parent. So this stuff just goes with my head. And I can, I can sit there and respect people like, listen, I get it. This is going to sit there and resonate with more mothers who have daughters, right? And that's cool. And I'm not going to sit there and try to shit on this moment, right? I could, at the very least, sat through it and not griped about it throughout the entire time and not feel a certain way about it. But the problem is that her bitchy attitude, like prior to that, just made me not give a shit about this part at all. Like, at all. And even Bill comes over there and, she's like, listen, this is a mother and daughter time or whatever. And he just, she at least acknowledged that, hey, if I need you, I'm not gonna come to you, whatever. And again, it would have made me have some sort of feelings to it, but I couldn't get over the scene before, so everything else just felt like, you ever just had a needle that you just couldn't wait to get, you was at a doctor's office or whatever, you just couldn't wait to sit there and get the shot and the needle over with. That's how that's how that whole scene felt from the time that she went to that country club and to after the scene was over. It just felt like one giant ass needle that I couldn't wait to come out of my body. Yeah, that's generally how I felt about it. And we'll get to the Leslie part in a minute. I know people are loving her. They're loving her attitude and everything like that. I don't know. I guess for me, and I didn't even wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Hell, I was actually off today, so I'm generally happy. But this episode did not exactly put me in the greatest moods. So it's like everything that just came out of Leslie's mouth was just like, it was just annoying. It was just really annoying. Every time she starts talking and she does that certain villainous voice where she's trying to be cute or sassy or, menacing, it just, what I compare it to? Peter August. I compare it to Peter August. You know how Peter August, you sit there and talk in this very menacing James Bond villain sort of way? Yeah, it sounds like that. And he used to annoy the hell out of people. That's how she comes across to me. Talking to evil, right? And he was like, did you sell me out or did you not sell me out? Did you do it or did you not do it? And her riddles, her constant riddles after a while was like, I kept looking at my phone, I'm like, how long do we have to this episode? Jacob comes over. Jacob was with Naomi talking about the Derek and Ashley situation. And, eventually he gets a call, he goes down there, he questions Eva. Eva tells her what she knows. I'm like, Eva, you shouldn't even be sitting there talking to him without a goddamn lawyer. I don't understand. I mean, I know it's for plot. Okay, I know it's for plot and it's a soap opera, and I don't expect. I get it. But I'm like, if you really don't want to incriminate yourself, you don't want to incriminate your mother, whatever, your dad got money, you can simply sit there and say, I'm not talking to you without my damn lawyer. And that would have been about it. But for some odd reason, you decide to just sit there and talk to the goddamn cops without a lawyer. So she tells her truth. She doesn't sit there and throw um, Leslie under the bus. And there's a point where he's like, what happened after you got home? Did you see Leslie? No. but I don't know if she was in a room or wherever, basement. She was. She could have been anywhere. I didn't see her, but that's not to sit there and say that she was out running over, Laura. So Jacob leaves, and after a lot of pressure of, she could sit there and drag you down. You may not want to go down with her, and everything like that. She still doesn't sit there and accuse Leslie, even though she thinks that she most likely did it. I think she actually did sit there and say like, "Oh, I did it for us" or whatever. Her harebrained scheme or whatever, getting back at Ted, and now she's trying to justify what she did to Laura for her own petty revenge. Because let's be honest, that's all that came across as. Um, then she comes back over there. She's like, "Oh, you love me." Like it proves something to her. Like, "Oh, I can sit there and be nice to you and actually treat you like a decent mother instead of the trash I've been snipping treating you as." And I did like yesterday's episode. I didn't get a chance to talk about it because it was late. It was a long day, and it doesn't. And the reason why I will sit there and take a minute to talk about this part because it explains today's episode. If you didn't watch yesterday's episode, she had a conversation with Tomas, and long story short, she was like, the reason why she doesn't just cut her out of her life is because there's good moments with Leslie, and she hangs on to those good moments and hope that there's more good moments than the moments where she treats her like trash. And Tomas, his connection with her is that he has the same issues with his basuda of a father. There's good moments he has when he has bears and they're talking and stuff, and then there's just moments where his father would treat him like dirt, and that's their connection. Um, and that's why she sat there and even allowed her disgusting ass mother to sit there and touch her. Now, there's a point where Derek is sitting there talking to Naomi, and I will sit there and say this. I was very impressed with Naomi today because Naomi said something um, that is very food for thought for anyone in a relationship that have arguments. And it basically sit there and say you got to know how to fight, right? Instead of using very hurtful and angry words, you kind of change it around where it still gets the point across without just coming across as trash, as somebody who doesn't love their partner. And that's what it comes down to. But there's a point where he left because he thought he overheard something with between Ashley and Andre, right? Um, but you got Jacob Smith saying you need to go home. You got Naomi Smith saying you need to sit there and talk to her. He gets a call from her. He sees the phone call, but yet he still decides to either go back to the fireplace or his roommate's place or whatever, instead of just going back and talking to his girlfriend. Yeah, because she was being an annoying POS of a subhuman being, right? We all know that. And, listen, she acknowledged the stuff that she did wrong, right? Doesn't it doesn't make it better, but hell, it's a start if they really love each other and committed to each other. But instead of him going back home, he just decides, he's gonna sit there and stay here, look at a photo of her, and say goodnight instead of actually talking to her. So unfortunately, he came back to the house. He only left because of a miscommunication, and that's a shame. But you know, um, Danny texted Andre, but Andre was busy sitting there, in his view, consulting a friend. Um, but he did call her back, and she was like, "Hey, listen, I get it. It's friends with benefits, so it doesn't come with explanations." As opposed to when she asked, like, "Where was he?" Then they both get in their beds, longing for the other one, and da 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 da. And I think that's pretty much the end of the review. It's funny too, because I sit there and say this much about General Hospital. 15 minutes in or 11 minutes in, I was going to just watch the whole thing and then do a review afterwards. And the minute that they went to that performance bullshit, I was like, nope, 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 nope. I'm gonna have to fast forward through that if I'm actually gonna sit there and watch it. Or I'm gonna review it. Which I don't even know if I'm gonna review because I generally cannot stand those damn nurses ball that they do almost every single goddamn year. So, but I know when I do a review, I need to sit there and come at it with a sense of entertainment. Like, even if I don't like the episode, I have to come at it with a sense of entertainment and not a sense of, you know. So I was like, you know what, let me just take a break from this. I'm DVRing it, so I will clearly fast forward through whatever BS that they're putting on. Oh, also, Haley didn't notice when Bill tried to pick up the spoon about his hand. He explained it away. It's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse before other people find out. Um, and yeah. I mean, other than that, I didn't really care about the Bill and Haley scenes. I just simply didn't. Hell, them going to the country club just seemed so acidine. Like, why would you go to a place where they treated your wife with disrespect? And the only time that she actually gets any service is when you are there. I don't understand. I know this is for plot and set reasons, but it's still just so stupid. It really is. It is. I'm just gonna keep it real. Now I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else. Share the video if you can, because I definitely want to sit and get more people into watching Beyond the Gates reviews, since there are fans out there. Um, and we can also get into the live streams too, which I will be doing tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, as well as all the other shows, including General Hospital for whatever good that's on the episode. Um, anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video and live stream tonight.